Authorities intimidated into cooperation. Innocent individuals secretly investigated. Asylum seekers injected with dangerous psychotropic drugs. Our fourth story in the countdown, another slice of life in George Bush's America. First, the Pentagon use of the benign-sounding National Security Letters, or NSLs. NSLs request financial records of untold numbers of individuals issued to numerous undisclosed recipients, including internet providers and credit reporting agencies, and according to an ACLU analysis of 455 of them issued since 9/11. The Department of Defense has collaborated with the FBI to circumvent limits on its own authority to spy, even using NSLs to gather information on people who are not even under investigation. Quoting from the guidelines, an NSL is not limited to seeking information on the subject of an investigation, because an NSL is available when the information sought is relevant to an investigation. Information concerning apparent associates of or individuals in contact with the subject of an investigation may also be obtained if relevant to the investigation. It's not just the Pentagon overstepping its bounds. As we mentioned Friday, the former CEO of Quest Communications, Joseph Naccio, implies in court documents that not only did the National Security Agency ask his company to turn over phone records without a court order back in February 2001, long before the supposed urgent need for those records after 9/11, but that it dangled lucrative contracts in front of the company and then withdrew those contracts when he refused to hand over the records without a warrant. And word of a physical assault that not only violates the Bill of Rights, but may actually constitute torture. Two immigrants are alleging that Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers forcibly injected them with drugs. They have medical records to confirm their accusations. One plaintiff, a Christian minister from Indonesia, who was deemed suicidal, was given twice the normal dose of Cogentin, as well as the antipsychotic medication Haldol, without any kind of doctor's examination. Joined now by constitutional law expert, Professor at George Washington University, Jonathan Turley. John, thanks for your time again tonight.
Thank you.
This drug lawsuit first. It's two people right now, but an immigration official testified to Congress last month that 48 other people were also forcibly injected with dangerous drugs. Does this go beyond American law? Does it violate international human rights provisions?
Oh, there's most certainly a question of international violations. This is not the first time the United States has been accused of this type of misconduct. In the so-called extraordinary rendition cases, where we were sending people to other countries to be tortured, there's actually U.S. officials that were quoted saying that they knew these people would be tortured. Some of those people were allegedly drugged. And there's no question that it's abusive under international domestic law to give these types of drugs without a doctor prescribing it. You're not supposed to give drugs just to make people easier cargo.
These details about the Pentagon spying program and national security letters, if, as I was quoting from its manual, these NSLs can be used to gather information on anybody, even somebody vaguely connected with a suspect, does that essentially mean that that I or you dial a wrong number and it happens to belong to somebody who's under investigation, the Pentagon can secretly go and get your information or my information as well?
They can, and you can thank the U.S. Congress for that. In the Patriot Act and 4 other pieces of legislation that were enacted, the NSLs can be used with extraordinary ease. And what is astonishing is that the abuses of the NSLs are well documented. As soon as the FBI got this power that they were promising to use in the most judicious and cautious way, they abused it with abandon. And yet Congress has done very, very little. But what Congress did do is they created this relevancy test, and most anything can be relevant. And your example is by no means far-fetched. Yes, if you show up on the phone records by accident of somebody that they suspect, you can have your records searched, and you will not know it because the companies are told that they can't tell you.
The ACLU is pointing out that while the domestic surveillance capability of the Pentagon is meant to be limited, checked in some way, that the Department of Defense has in fact been asking the FBI, which has a broader ken here, has wider spying rights, to issue the NSLs on the Pentagon's behalf, which circumvents obviously the limits on the power. But is that circumvention of the law by itself also illegal?
Technically, I don't think it's illegal. It's a violation of the spirit of the law because the law is written so generally. There's no question at all that they are not supposed to have the power to issue these NSLs to this degree. The FBI has to conduct its own decision as to who justifies the standard. The standard, of course, is so loose, as you've already pointed out, that most anybody could satisfy it. But without any question at all, the Department of Defense is abusing the law, and violating the spirit of the law. They found a way to get around it. And once again, the silence is deafening. In the wake of these abuses, the question is, where's Congress, that branch that's supposed to be a check and a balance on these types of abuses?
The last one, these allegations from the former CEO of Quest, and he's not necessarily a neutral witness. We have to take this with a grain of salt because he's trying to get an insider trading conviction overthrown. But what do you make of his allegation? Is this the first time we've heard anything like this, that the NSA was trying to get phone records of citizens of this country, no warrant involved, 7 months before 9/11?
No, you're right. You know, we do have to consider the context, but what he is saying actually is confirmed by other sources. You know, this administration was seeking a massive expansion in presidential power and national security powers before 9/11. 9/11 was highly convenient in that sense. I'm not saying that they welcomed it, but when it happened, it was a great opportunity to seize powers that they have long wanted at the FBI. The great irony, of course, with the NSA and the FBI is that their blunders helped contribute to 9/11, but they radically expanded those powers as a result of that tragedy.
Nothing succeeds like failure. Jonathan Turley of George Washington University. As always, sir, great thanks.
Thanks.
Larry